Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We are going to continue our discussion on the historical and logical analysis of the burning of the house of Syeda Fatima Zehra, Salawatullah alayha. In prior discussions, we've talked about our overall approach. Today, as we are digging deep into this particular event and the adjoining events, what I would like to highlight is how we are going to think about the next few discussion items so that you have a perspective. So, first of all, it is important to understand the investigation that we are about to embark on. And this investigation is with a religious scholar who will be bringing these different perspectives. But we need to think about what is the background. So, there are four things I want to highlight. The first one is the importance of understanding what happened to Syeda Fatima Zehra. Why is it so important? Second, we need to lay out the facts. Third, we need to recap the discussion from our first discussion with a religious scholar. And the last one is to briefly give an overview of the next four topics that we have already discussed and will be sharing via podcast and YouTube. So the first of all, the importance of understanding this event. It starts with the personality of Syeda Fatima Zehra. She is the nucleus of the family of heaven, if I am to say. Why would I say that? That is because Lady Fatima was young and the only daughter alive when Prophet passed away. So she is the daughter of the Prophet, who is the leader of all the prophets from Allah. Second, she is the mother of the leaders of the heaven. So she is literally the mother of the leaders of the youth of heaven, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain, and she is the wife of the leader of men of heaven, Imam Ali salam. And her stature in herself, not just being the nucleus, is that she is the leader of the women of the heaven. And in other places, she is the leader of women of all time. So that in itself is like amazing stature. Add that on the fact that Rasulullah said, and it's mentioned in Bukhari, that Fatima is a part of me, and whoever hurt Fatima hurts me, and whoever hurts me hurts Allah. So now her personality, her pleasure is linked to the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now there is a mystery linked to her personality. That is the death, which is a mystery till today. And that event, in my opinion, is potentially the single cause of the split in Islam that happened. You cannot disjoint that from how people pray today, how people act today, how people are angry at each other. That single event was the cause of everything that happened that we see today. So let's think about what are the facts. So Lady Fatima Zehra passed away within 3 months of the death of his father at the age of 18. And now when I say within 3 months, according to some Sunnah books, it's 6 months, but there is no narration that goes beyond 6 months. So let's dig deeper. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died on either 28th Safar, according to Shias, or according to Sunnah brothers, on the 12th Rabiul Awwal. So between the two dates, there's difference of 15, 12, 14 days, 2 weeks. Then within that, after the death of the Prophet, Syeda Fatima Zehra died within 3 months. She died on the 13th of Jama'adil Awwal, the first Jama'adil Ula, or the third Jama'adil Sani, the second Jama'adi. There is no date according to Sunnah narrations when she died. It just says she died within few months. So there are a few questions that come up. Why did Fatima Zehra die so quickly? At the prime of her life, 18 years of age. Did she die because of natural causes? Or was she physically injured that resulted in her quick death? Was something taken from her? Where is her grave? Who buried her? Where were the Muslims at that time? because no one knows about her grave. So these are few questions, just the facts, nothing more. And the goal of this analysis that we are embarking on, that we're doing right now, is to raise questions and lay out the fact that were hidden for 1400 years. And I won't say hidden, but they were not discussed openly. We need to provoke the mind and invoke hikmah, because Allah Ta'ala says, whoever we have given hikmah, we have given a great gift. And we need to establish hujjah. So whoever listens and understands and then makes their decision, it's up to them to confront and to live with their decision. And we need to enable people to be responsible for their decisions in front of Allah. So just recapping on the first discussion that is available on the podcast as well as on YouTube, there are 5 things I want to highlight. One was we talked about what is the approach of this analysis. It has to be like a detective investigating the truth. We talked about the political and contextual aspects of that time. We talked about the situation of Medina, the political situation of Medina in context of the broader worldview, and we talked about the concept of cause and effect. Every effect has a cause. Every cause results in an effect. So how do we understand the causes? We talked about the approach of 5 whys, thinking about like, why did this happen, then why did that happen, then why did that happen. Normally in business, if you do this 5 whys, you normally reach to the root cause of the problem. And number 5 is understanding the key events, which were the causes that led to that political climate, which was the effect. So in the next few discussions, there are few topics that will be discussed, and I want to have this context, everyone to have this perspective, what is coming up. So first of all, investigating the death of Syeda Fatima Zehra as a detective. So understanding the approach, following the leads and analogs, and understanding the 2 groups with counter perspectives, counterpoints, and how would a detective go about these things. Secondly, we'll look into what is the importance of Syeda Fatima Zehra for the Islamic State of that time, and the efforts to impact her life in Medina during the life of the Prophet. Not just life after the death of the Prophet, but even before the death. We will also look at some of the events and effort that were undertaken to malign the personality of Imam Ali. And these are available, if these are public, so both Islamic books. And lastly, we're going to talk about how history was twisted to confuse the future generations. Hopefully you'll stay with us on this investigative journey and understand the truth and the key insights that will come from these. I would end with a brief excerpt from Dr. Hatim, which will be very eye-opening and which kind of summarizes all of this purpose of this discussion.
Those who want to reject, of course, most of them will reject. That is not. But you make a hujjah for anyone who I was one of them. But when somebody put the hujjah in front of me, I yield to it because I find the proof so overwhelming. I can't resist it anymore. I can't. Because it is guilty without reasonable doubt. You see, premature death, dead lady in her 18 years old. And that is the hikmah of Allah. Why Syeda Fatima Zehra has to, because without that, if Syeda Fatima Zehra live until her 50s or 60s, we can't say that now, right? Definitely, you can say, okay, that's 60 years old, 50 years old. What you want to from her? We would die.
Yeah.
No, 18 years old. Yeah. Why? She gave us a proof with these 2 things: her early death and her hidden grave. And that's another issue. A hidden grave of Syeda Fatima Zehra.
Yes.
Why she asked to be buried at night secretly without anyone knowing her